Hey, we recording a new video. Is it over yet? Back, baby. Now, for this glorious return, season 2. What movie are we doing? What? Oh shit. I'm your host, James Blair, co-host Jack Ochkowski, and welcome back to Is It Over Yet? Season 2, baby. We were like, yo, we want to bring this back, but we didn't want to do like a boring movie. So we chose...
So we decided one day to just watch, if you can't tell by the intro, Crank.
Released in 2006, directed by Mark Neveldine or something. It's a movie starring Jason Statham, and he is an assassin named Chev. Who gets poisoned, and the only way to stop the poison from killing him is to
keep his adrenaline up. He's gotta go throughout the entire movie. He's gotta do a bunch of whole high octane stunts. That's why the intro is so extremely shaky cam and lots of running and falling over.
So, yeah, that's basically the plot of the movie. Jason Statham being angry for an hour. Like 80 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what's the basic plot summary, James?
No, it's not gonna be graphic. But yes, Chev has to...
So the movie begins in this funky first-person camera perspective, where Jason Statham wakes up from a long nap, where he then finds a disc in his TV with the words "F you" on it.
We can't
so you can't say it because demonetization. We're not even monetized. Our channel is too small. So then the video is just your basic debriefing of the plot. Like, Mexican drug cartel man tells Jason that he's just been injected with a deadly poison that will kill him in an hour. So throughout the entire movie is him trying to do a whole revenge thing where he's gonna kill the guy who gave him the poison. So he gets all angry, goes in his car, and just drives.
He tries to call his girlfriend,
who she doesn't respond.
And he calls his doctor, who also doesn't respond. But he gets the message. So
in his extreme rage, Jason Statham decides to drive to Orlando's Hood, which is a location where he talks to this one guy who's like, "Hey, I need info on where the Mexican drug man is. I need to kill him." And the guy's like, "I don't know, Holmes. I don't know where he is. He has some cocaine."
So he gives him cocaine to keep his heart rate up and adrenaline pumping. And one thing you might have noticed, since I'm playing clips over this,
the editing's all whack. All those freeze frames. The beginning of the movie literally had a bunch of glitch effects. So we'd made the joke that his file was corrupted.
Yeah, it looks like Peter tries rice cakes, but it's that one version.
It's that one version where everything just breaks. So it looks like that.
So after that, he goes to he calls his doctor.
Again, he picks up and he's like, "Hey, where are you, man? Where did you go?" And the guy, Jason's like, I've got poisoned by the drug cartel, man.
I remember. At this point, he is also being chased through a mall because he is driving through a mall.
He's car. Since he's speeding, the police are chasing him, and he drives through a mall.
Yeah, and he crashes the car, and his car lands perfectly in the escalator, and then he goes into a place, and
then as he's driving through the mall, the doctor guy is like, well, Jason, you've just got injected by the Chinese cocktail. or not Chinese cocktail. It's
Beijing.
the Beijing cocktail. It's you got to keep your adrenaline up unless you die. So do that. And then Jason does wacky things.
Jason runs out. He gets in a taxi, and he narrowly avoids the police, and then he goes to
a convenience store where he then robs it with all the energy drinks he possibly can find.
And then he gets back in the car, and they drive to this. So he goes to this place, and one of the dudes.
He goes to this Chinese restaurant where the Mexican drug cartel's brother is, and then he's like, he walks in all angrily, and then the brother goes out into the back where Jason Statham cuts off his hand with a meat cleaver. Oh yeah, and then he also has like this gay stripper friend who does nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't really have.
He tries to save him, but then like
the worst fight scene of all time unfolds with the worst camera angles and editing and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and it ends with Jason Statham blowing the dude's head up.
Yeah, he just shoots him in the head, and then gives the gay stripper his hand
for some reason.
And then he goes back to his car. he goes back to his car with the guy and because the taxi driver's Muslim. The taxi guy's like, oh hell no, I'm not driving you anywhere else. So then Jason Statham throws him to the floor, calls him a terrorist, and then all the residents.
He yells like Al Qaeda.
Yeah, he yells Al Qaeda, and then all the other residents beat him up because they think he's a terrorist. So then he steals the taxi, and then does he drive to his girlfriend's house?
He steals the taxi. Okay, he steals the taxi. He goes to this one skyscraper building, and there's like this big gangster boss pool.
Oh yeah, pool.
And
that's the funniest part in the movie, where this guy's in the pool, and he's like, oh, I'm just having fun, and then all of a sudden Jason Statham appears in the water.
Just swims.
Like an angel ascending from the heavens. Just Jason Statham.
Just descending, and he's like, I want you to talk to me. So then he talks more about stuff. I forgot what they talk about. I don't think it's important, to be honest.
Yeah, so they talk about things, probably where the drug man is.
And
then he goes to his girlfriend's place.
He steals a cop's bike.
Yeah. Oh no, he goes to the hospital.
Oh, he goes to the hospital. He goes to the hospital to get the drug. It's like a big drug.
Yeah, that his doctor. He was talking on the phone with his doctor, and the doctor was like, "Well, you can get this one drug that like helps with your adrenaline."
Yeah,
and the guy's like, Jason's like, "Yes." So he goes to the hospital, where then meets Glenn Howard.
Glenn Howerton. Who you might know from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as the impeccable.
He plays a doctor.
He plays a doctor who Jason Statham gets held up by Jason Statham.
Oh, but before that, there's a minute-long scene of him just staring at a dead guy.
Yeah, like he's getting chased by police still. So he just runs in. He runs in. He just stares at a random dying old man, and then he leaves the room, and the movie continues.
Yeah, he walks in and goes,
I'm out. Okay.
And then he's gone.
And then he gets Glenn. Okay, back to the doctor.
And then he finds Glenn Howerton, holds him at gunpoint. He's like, "Hey you, I gotta. Where's the drugs? I need the drugs, Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Give me the drugs." Yeah. And then Glenn Howerton's like, "Okay, I'll give you the drugs." And gives him the drugs, and he leaves.
No, he friggin'.
Yeah, then he has like. The entire movie, he's just drinking everything he possibly can, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna defibrillate myself." So then he gets defibrillated.
Yeah, Glenn Howerton defibrillates to Jason Statham.
So then he goes into an elevator and then leaves.
He steals a cop's bike. He steals the guy's gun, throws it away, and then.
But before that, he gives himself the drug, and then he.
Oh, yeah.
He gives himself the drug, and then he walks out in the middle of the street wearing a hospital gown. You get lots of Jason Statham ass shots.
Lots of Stath ass.
Jason
Statham.
And then he finds a police, a TV news station, where they're like, "Hey, this unknown man is going on a rampage around the city," and then he just looks at him, and then the guy turns around and looks at him.
The camera just goes down, and it's just Jason Statham with a massive erection.
Yeah, because the drugs give him because he took more than the doctor prescribed, so he's like, "You're gonna die in 30 minutes," and then he's listing off a bunch of symptoms, and he's like, "You have a heart on," and he looks down and goes,
"Check."
"Yep."
Got it.
Yeah, so then, with a massive erection, he sneaks next to a police officer on his bike, steals his gun, pushes him around, and then steals his bike, and then just kind of drives to his girlfriend's house.
His girlfriend's name is Eve. She lives in this weird apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
She had a little bit of dialogue earlier, but nothing that important. So
Yeah.
he goes in and he wants to get her. He wants to get her
Out,
because
so they can be
the
safe.
assassins are coming after him.
Yeah, so they're gonna come after her.
So then his adrenaline's getting low because she wants him to fix her microwave. So that's
Alright, yeah. And then
he burns his
hand
hand
in
in
a waffle iron because he needs to get his adrenaline going. And then the assassins come in and then start to attack. Jason does it in a way where he makes his girlfriend not notice that there's an attack coming.
Because his girlfriend does not know that he's an assassin, so they're just having a fight, and she's like picking up stuff off the ground.
Yeah, so like he throws her purse to the ground, dumps everything out, and then he's fighting the assassin that's coming after him.
He kills a bird.
Yeah, he does kill a bird. They kill a parrot.
So he just silently snaps this dude's neck, throws him in the pool, and he's like, okay, let's get going.
Yeah, his girlfriend gets shot at like twice, and she doesn't even notice.
So then they go to Chinatown, and they have a
nice dinner. Jason tells his girlfriend that he's an assassin.
And she doesn't believe him.
She doesn't believe him, gets all angry, walks outside.
And then his adrenaline's getting... Okay, his
adrenaline gets low. So he's like, make love to me in the middle of the public. So then they both get naked, and they start
it's not even like, oh yeah, I'm into this. It's like, this is the funniest part of the movie.
Yeah.
So she's like resisting at first, and Jason's name's just like, come on. I need to
you gotta make love to me, mate.
I need to do it. So then she gets into it for some reason,
and then she starts getting
and there's
horny.
a whole bunch of people around, and they're like,
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
woo! Yeah!
Like, there's a bunch of just like random civilians in Chinatown just watching them have sex in the middle of a street. Like, he pins her up to like a board and then just starts like humping her. Like with his pants down.
And there's like a bus full of people.
There's a bus full of people just watching. And then he just puts his hands and goes,
I'm alive!
And then everyone just goes, yeah!
I would put the clip in, but
you would probably get age restricted.
No, I would.
So just blurred. Or not even at all. There's no clip.
I'll just put in the audio. Just I'm alive.
Or just heavily zoomed in on Jason's face.
So after that, he leaves her, and then
they go into the.
So then he goes to this sweatshop.
No,
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He goes to this sweatshop where like a bunch of the guy's gang is, and then like.
They have
a huge shootout there.
Oh, we forgot to mention something. So basically, the reason why Jason Statham got poisoned was because he was an assassin, as you know, but he spared this big Don that he was supposed to kill.
Yeah,
he was going to quit the business for his girlfriend. He was going to quit the assassin business for his girlfriend. So then he talks to some gang members, and they're like, you should just die already, because you've already poisoned, you're going to die.
And then he's like, what, do I have the word, like, cunt on my head? And then just the word cunt appears on his forehead.
Yeah. And then he kills all of them, and he aggressively uses a corpse as a meat shield.
Yeah, he uses a corpse as a meat shield. And then, like, they go into the main sweatshop area, where he then puts this one guy's hand inside of a sewing machine, which then his hand gets sewed.
Yeah. It's like, oh no,
my god, my hand! Oh!
My hand is becoming a t-shirt.
So then they both get into their car, like him and his girlfriend, who somehow managed to get there, both get into a car and they're like driving. So and Jason's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna die in like a couple minutes if I don't have adrenaline. And then his girlfriend's like, I can think of an idea. So then he just like, she gets down and then gives him a blowjob. As he's like driving,
and he kills some people while that's happening.
Yeah, he kills people while that's happening.
So they pull over, the car crashes. So Jason Statham gets out, shoots the dude like 10 times, and then he gets back in the car, and then she's like, "Are they actually dead?"
And then Jason's like, "Yeah, they're dead."
No, they're dead. I shot them like
10 times.
Come on.
I shot them like 10 times.
I saw them
They're
like
dead.
10 times. They're dead. I'm gonna go kill
I'm gonna
Judge Sherlock.
go do a Fast and Furious franchise now. See you, bitch.
But yeah, so basically they get to this hotel where on the top floor there's a couple scenes that aren't that really important, like him entering the hotel and a couple scenes, but then he gets to the top and the Don from earlier, well not the Don, but it was a different, like the pool guy, but the gangster in the pool dude and the guy who originally poisoned him.
Yeah.
On the roof, whole bunch of dudes. There's girls in like.
And like glass balls for some reason.
So you're like, hey, Jason Statham, you want to see my woman collection?
It's just like, Jason Statham, behold my woman collection.
Laughs evilly. So
Laughs
then they talk,
evilly.
and he's like, oh, I want you to
Why?
die.
Okay, but like, did they explain why there's like a bunch of like Chinese guys there?
Oh, because he spared Verdun, so the team.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I forgot.
He spared Verdun, so then
Yeah, so like
they're about to
so,
kill
like,
him.
They're starting. So like Jason's like threatening the guy, and then he points like a finger gun at him, and he's like.
And
then
he points at that
guy. It says bang, and then the guy gets a hole through his head and dies, and everyone's like, what the hell? And then they don't even seem to notice that there's like a group of like 10 Chinese mafia guys just behind them.
Yeah.
With like automatic rifles and like silenced pistols.
So then a shootout.
And then they have like a massive shootout.
And then it cuts to a news guy at the bottom. He's like, if he.
This scene is this news footage is quite graphic. So if you have children near you, put them in another room. And then like some reason he just stares at the camera for like 3 seconds, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stares at the camera for like 3 seconds.
The fight doesn't really have very many like good points.
Uh-huh.
So the fight doesn't have very many good points, but
So like the fight isn't really that impressive, but it has like
it has like gore. A dude gets thrown onto a grenade and he's like, "Thanks, boss."
Thanks, boss, before exploding.
One of
the Mexican drug cartel
shot.
guys like has this pistol in his hand, and then Jason throws a glass bottle, causing him to drop it. So the pistol like falls on the ground, and firing and shooting off his fingers.
Yeah, that was the dude who.
That was the guy who poisoned him. Yeah.
So then they run up to a helipad. And then. Okay, so he poisons him again.
Yeah, the drug cartel man poisons Jason again, and then they all fly in a helicopter.
No, he shoots the
drug cartel man shoots the pool guy.
The big gangster dude.
The big gangster man.
He shoots him and
then he's on the helicopter, and then Jason follows him on the helicopter. So they're
punching and
thousands of feet up, and they're like just choking each other out, and then
they both fall off.
They both fall off the helicopter. And Jason strangles the guy to death.
Snaps his neck. Horrible green screen shots.
Horrible green screen. So he's like falling in the sky.
And then he
calls his girlfriend while falling in the sky, and then hits the ground, presumably dying.
He hits the ground, bounces off a car, and then the last thing we see is Jason Statham's bloody face.
Dead on the floor.
And somehow
they made a sequel.
There is a sequel, Crank 2 High Voltage. Will we be covering it?
Hopefully.
Do I want to watch it?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so he's dead, but then they made a sequel, so I don't think he's dead anymore.
Okay. But that was pretty much the movie. That was Crank. Released in 2006, starring Jason Statham.
That was Crank.
Mm-hmm. So, how bad is this movie? Out of 10, 10 being super duper bad, never would watch it, and
I think it's around.
And 1 being a decent film.
A 5.
A 5? I feel like it would be maybe a 6.
Oh no! Isn't the whole thing that we like? It's either of us. It's 1 out of 5, and then we combine the scores.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
1 out of
so
5?
if it's 1 out of 5, I think it's a 2.
You think it's a 2?
Yeah. It's
What?
It's dumb, but fun.
Okay, that's fine.
It's mentally insane and stupid, but it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, I would. So what are you giving it? A 2?
Yeah, I'm giving it maybe a 3.
I'll give it a 3 as well. I'll give it a 3 as well. Because the action, it can be very entertaining at times. There are some good lines. There are some good scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But the editing is just all over the place.
The editing is really bad.
And it just looks so low budget. It just looks... like they flushed all the budget down the toilet, and
Yeah, it looks like a very low budget movie.
somehow people walk to the theater and they're like, "Whoa, I want more of that.
I want a sequel.
I want more Crank.
Mm-hmm.
I want more Crank."
Yep.
But yeah, that was our.
That has been our review.
That has been a review of Crank. It is over. It is over.
It is over now. Not yet, but it's over now.
Yes.
See you next time.
Yes.